Hi guys, it's Mike here from KS Bushcraft Down Under. So I thought I'd knock you out a review on this Softy Elite 1 sleeping bag. So me and Snugpak go back quite a ways. So back in the late 90s I was really into canoeing and I was doing some multiple day trips. And on one of those trips the down sleeping bag I had stored in an old olive drum got soaked because someone didn't put the lid back on properly. And for 3 days I had a wet sleeping bag that I couldn't get dry. It wasn't life-threatening, but it was awfully miserable. So I decided that synthetic sleeping bag would be the way to go. So I bought, I think it was a Merlin 3, Softy 3 possibly. It was red and black. And it weighed 750 grams, and there was an advert out there where it was sitting on the palm of your hand, so I thought, wow, that's fabulous. With reflective foam, and this has reflective foam as well. And the following trip, it was middle of winter for me, and it got down to about 6 degrees, and it was supposed to be rated for 0, and I froze. So I had all my clothes on, and I was still cold. Then I noticed later on, they've increased the amount of insulation and changed the rating system. So that leaves me up to this fella here. So this one's made in China. The tactical 2 bag I have is made in the UK in Yorkshire. So we'll rattle you out some figures. Now, as it is packed in its stuff sack, it's 1,082 grams, so compressed, which I never see the need to compress them really hard. It's 22 centimeters by 16 centimeters, and the bag itself weighs 1,000 grams. So if you don't need a compression sack, that's something you can drop. It's rated for comfort at 7 degrees Celsius or 45 F, and a low of 2 degrees Celsius or 36 F. So for me, this is where I am in Australia, 3 seasons basically. It's certainly in the middle of the winter, it's going to be pushing it. Okay. So in perspective, this woolly mammoth blanket I have weighs just over 2,100 grams, so 2 of these, and it's certainly not as warm as this bag. Okay, so it's got a lot of features in it which we'll go into in depth, but it has a deployable side baffle across the zip. So if you're like me and you like to roll around a bit in your mummy style sleeping bag, this might be for you, because it gives you enough room that you can turn over without the bag following you. It has a valuables pocket inside, has a drawer cord on the hood. It's got a reinforced foot, so you can keep your boots on, which I would not recommend. Having your boots and socks on all night is just not good for anything. YKK zippers, anti-snag. It's got loops inside for a sleeping bag liner. Now, one of its big bonuses, it's adjustable in its length. So there are some clips on the side that you can fold the foot box up. So if you're not a giant, and this will go to someone that's about 180 centimeters tall, you can adjust it. So that's a real bonus for me at just under 5'10". Outside fabric of Paratech Micro, inside Paratech Light with reflective foam, and that's like a barrier fabric which is supposed to aid the heat. Now these aren't stitched through these, that's one of their selling points. It has the Softy installation, and the whole thing is 100% polyester, filling liners, a whole lot. So that's all the details. Comes like this. Comes with this little tagger here. I'll put some more details up on the video. You can get them in pairs, left and right zip, so you can make a huge double if you wish. So I see it as a pretty good solution to stepping up with half the weight of the wool blanket for slightly better performance. Now it's also a dead fit for my Frost River backpacks. It'll drop straight in, not compressed, in the pack really nicely. So we'll get into it, and I'll have a night out in it, and at the moment we're getting 4 or 5 degrees Celsius, so it'll be a reasonable test of it at its lower end. Anyway guys, that's what we're going to do.
Okay guys, this is my Frost River Isle Rail backpack. Now I've made a liner for this using a plastic jerry can. Probably when I'm fully packed out I won't need this liner, I'll just need to pack it smart. So Bag drops in there perfectly, not compressed at all. And normally my wool blanket is on the outside, so this is a bit more compact. This one, guys, is my Frost River Arrowhead pack, so it's more of a day pack. It's also the one I use if I'm going to do something a bit stealthy, where it would look like if I walked in with a huge backpack. And it fits in just beautifully there. So I've got a couple of stealth trips to do this winter, and this will be the pack I'll be using. Okay guys, there she is laid down on the ground. A quick run over with the tape measure. So I've got from footbox to hood 2,150 millimeters. So I've got the extra wide bit deployed, so and the top here I've got 790. These are the clips for shortening the bag, and if you didn't need them, you could remove them. So they correspond with these D-rings here. And unless you're really tall, this is a great feature. That tucks it under like that, so you're coming in with your feet in there. Gives you a bit more insulation under your feet, and it stops all that dead air space. So I think that's really cool. So I'll just run the tape measure again, get a rough idea what it shortens it down to. I mean, there's no body in this bag, of course. That runs it down to the top of the hood here to about 1750. So that would be alright, because at me just under 5'10", it's a dead fit. But I mean, you could put some cordage on the loops to make it a dead fit for yourselves. So this is the zip baffle, so it's extra wide, so you don't get a cold spot across the zip. But if the weather's warmer, or like me, you like room to thrash around, the zip is double-ended, so you could ventilate your footbox. Sure she's down. So there. So you bring out this end. Make sure she's all the way home, of course. With all these double-ended zips. And now you've gained that much more space in your bag. So that's really smart. It really is. And it's sort of elasticated as well. So that's cool. We call these anti-snag zips. I'm not sure if that's true of any zip. Right, so these are the loops inside. They're saying it's for tying off a liner, so the Snugpak will certainly have a liner. Also useful for drying it out, I'd imagine. But you've got the clips as well, so multiple points. Now, this one, unlike my Tactical 2, which has a really nice, soft, warm liner in it, feels a bit plastic baggy type here. It took some finding. Well, the camera's appreciating this view, but there is a pocket here big enough for a wallet. So if you're at a hostel or something like that and you want your wallet handy, it's there. It's on top of your chest. There's a shot of the tag on the inside. Right guys, my loadout for my sleep out. I've got my P&W Kimber tarp and lightweight ground cloth on top of my Thermarest Z-Rest pad. I've been using those for years. They're absolutely bomber. But if you're not a back sleeper, probably go a self-inflating mat. I've got both, and I've got the purple is a silk sleeping bag liner, and it's good practice to use them with all your sleeping bags, because the less you wash your sleeping bag, the longer it's going to last. And it adds I think about 2 degrees in warmth possibly, and although it adds an extra layer of difficulty getting in and out of the sleeping bag, it's well worth the effort. And I've got my extra ridge line in as well to set up my tarp and that with. So I think we're all good. We're forecasting like 5 degrees C overnight, maybe 7, depends if we get clouds or not. And we're right in the sweet spot for what this bag should be able to handle. Morning guys, so the morning after. During the night we had 6.8 degrees as the minimum. So just below the comfort rating of this bag, which is 7. And on the ground I've got the wax canvas tarp on the ground, Thermarest Z-Rest. I've got my pillow up my camper trailer. I can't find the inflatable one I would normally use, so it's good to have a real pillow. Silk liner in the bag, which adds a fair bit of difficulty in getting in and out of this plough point set up for the tarp, but good practice and worth doing. I was lightly dressed. I had dry socks on, lightweight tracksuit pants and a t-shirt, and a beanie on my head because I shaved my head, so it's important to keep your head covered. That applies to your neck as well, by the way, in really cold conditions. So sleeping in this is never going to be like sleeping in a 4-poster bed while your girlfriend feeds you grapes, alright? Sometimes it takes you a couple of days to get into it, but for me, last night, comfortable as you can be. And you can step up your comfort. Don't be phased about using a self-inflating sleeping bag. It's no reflection on your outdoors ability, alright? If I was a more permanent camp, I would add a debris bed underneath this pad. And the advantage of these pads, of course, is you can't really destroy them. They're a bomber. Unlike your self-inflating pads, which can go really badly really quickly. So all in all, this bag has done everything it said it would on the tin. Okay, I think its height adjustment's great. I didn't have that cavernous hollow space on the bottom below my feet, and in the wide I had enough room that after 2 shoulder reconstructions, one on each side, I was able to roll around and give my shoulders some relief. Okay. Anyway guys, if this type of content helps you out, helps you make good decisions, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.